Hey, Alexa, what crap did John Hicks say this week on the radio? I'm sure I don't want to hear it, but I'm interested to find out.
Helping you solve the retirement puzzle. Welcome to The Retirement Solution with John Hicks.
Here with John Hicks, I'm Jennifer Perry. We'd love to hear from you here on the Retirement Solution podcast. You can always drop us an email with any questions for John at retirementsolutionradio.com. And no fingers blown off over the 4th. Everybody made it through okay, John?
What was that?
Okay, you're deaf.
I can't hear you. Everything is still ringing in my ears right now. Are we on?
Well, maybe if Cletus would stop setting off the fireworks. Someone forgot to tell him that the 4th was on Thursday, and that's it. But
well, see, I have an issue with this. So I know that all the firework distributors out there, they run those big deals afterward. Do you know that Cletus has been out there every single night? It's like, I got this at 50% off, John. Take this. And my dog just goes crazy. She just starts barking in circles.
Yeah, poor dogs.
So, yeah, I wish Cletus would hang it up. How long do you think, Jennifer, how long is long enough after the 4th to keep shooting off fireworks?
I think you get 24 hours and that's it. And then done, okay?
See,
Wait till next year.
I would almost say, okay, into the Friday or Saturday of the following weekend, which would have been last night.
Extended
weekend. He set one off this morning just because. I know he did.
Yeah, just to be your alarm clock. Thank goodness for that. But
so I got that going for me.
Over the fireworks. But it's been an eventful week. I do kind of like these holiday shortened weeks. It kind of gets me into retirement mindset. We talked about that last week. But a lot of financial headlines happening this week in the world of sports, though, John.
Ooh.
Did you know that in that first day of free agency for the NBA players, more than $2.9 billion in deals were done? That was just day one.
For real?
Can you believe we're talking?
$2.9 billion?
Yes, in salaries.
That's a lot of money.
And, I mean, that was just a few key select players. There is so much money changing hands here with these athletes. Do you think those salaries are out of control?
I don't know. I've thought about this a long time. I know that I don't have a talent level to be one of those NBA players, mainly because I'm about 4 foot. Yeah, I'm about 4'1". But outside of that, these guys have to really, really dial it in to play at that level. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the question though. Are they worth it? Now, if you go to some teams, that excitement value, that entertainment value is definitely worth it when you think about what those owners make. I get that.
Yeah.
But the other thing we have to consider though, Jennifer, and this is a big one, these young guys, they may not make any more money for the rest of their lives after that initial contract.
True, they have much shorter careers.
Exactly. Yeah. And so when you think about that, it's not even as good a deal as we think. But there were some local guys that made some money this week, weren't there? Yeah,
we had Terry Rozier and Julius Randle, a couple of local guys who really racked up this week. On day one, they had their deals done. And for Rozier, too, it's guaranteed money, man. I mean, it really doesn't matter if he gets hurt or how much he plays. I think those are actually pretty sweet deals if you can work that for yourself.
Yeah, so Terry Rozier, and of course all you U of L guys know this, he played last with Montrezl Harrell here on the 2015 team when Ricky P was still here. And he signed $58 million for 3 years.
Nice.
He's never been a starter up until now. Mm-hmm. And he's going to go to Charlotte, play for Michael Jordan's team, make $58 million guaranteed, guys. That's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, all of those UK fans out there, woo, go Cats. we had another big player. We had Julius Randle. Yeah, we hadn't heard from him in a couple seasons, at least as much, but he signed a 3-year, I think he's still in the process of signing. I don't think they were allowed to ink it officially until last night on Saturday.
Okay.
But I think he was scheduled to make $63 million guaranteed money for a 3-year deal too.
Nice.
So think about that. I mean, what would you guys do? What would I do? What would any of us do if we had a guaranteed paycheck? Now, forget about being that big. I mean, these guys at their talent level, at their skill level, if they can play the game there, they're getting an appropriate wage for what they're doing. I know it's a lot, but they've earned that because of their skill set. But when we think about all of ourselves, as we think about our skill set, how nice would it be if we could guarantee that income for the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years? I mean, how nice would that be? These are young guys. But Jennifer, I know that you were talking about this. I don't know, maybe we talked about this last year. Didn't we just recently have Bobby Bonilla Day?
Yes, actually this past week too. I was going to mention that because he set up a pretty sweet deal for himself. Instead of taking a big lump sum, John, the way he structured his deal, or the way his agent told him to structure it, He gets a payday every single July from the New York Mets for more than $1 million every single
he
year.
does.
And he's going to keep getting that paycheck up until, I believe it's the year 2035. So, that's pretty sweet, too.
It's crazy. Right now, everyone is out there going, who is Bobby Bonilla? Was he one of those guys from Milli Vanilli? Who? And so you got to look back. And most people remember a guy named Barry Bonds. Mm-hmm. But in the outfield for the old Pirates, the old Pittsburgh Pirates, the two good people, well, there were three. They had Andy Van Slyke, they had Barry Bonds, they had Bobby Bonilla. Well, Bobby Bonilla, nearing the end of his career, he had the worst year of his life in 1999. But he signed a deal with the Mets in 2000 for $5.6 million. But check this out. Instead of taking that $5.6 million, he said, hey, don't pay that out. Don't pay that out to me. Instead, I want you to start paying me later. I want deferred gratification. I want you to give me $1.19 million for 25 years after I've already quit playing the game. So here's the amazing thing about Mr. Bonilla when you think about this. How much is deferred gratification worth? Well, Bobby Bonilla could have made that $5.6 million, but instead he chose to make nearly $50 million, and he has not played the game since the year 2000.
Wow.
He's going to keep getting paid until he's 65 years old. His last paycheck will come in 2029.
Man.
I mean, think about that. This guy hadn't played in forever. Now, here's the crazier thing about Bobby Bonilla to me. When you look at it, he was like a 4-time All-Star, maybe a 6-time All-Star, a 3-time batting champion. So, I mean, he was a good player, but most people have completely forgotten about him. He did that one contract with the Mets, but he had another one where he makes $500,000 a year, and almost no one talks about this one.
Oh,
He began that one in 2004. He makes another $500,000 every year for 25 years after that, too. Now, guys, this is a guy that ended his career making the most money he's ever going to make, and he locked that in not because he wanted to get rich quick, not because of greed, not because how can I make all this money today. What he said was, hey, how can I parlay this into the future and turn a good amount of money, but how can I turn that into a ton more money down the road? And wouldn't we all like to do that?
Yeah.
I mean,
is there a way that we can do that? Because, I mean, typically we're not making Major League Baseball or NBA money, John. However, we feel like we should be.
For what we're all out here doing,
right.
Maybe I don't deserve it, but everyone out there, you guys deserve it.
Right.
Because of what you guys are putting in. I know that.
Yeah.
So, but we can do this, and here's what we got to understand. So maybe the numbers aren't as lofty, but let's talk about this for a second. So let's talk about this example of how do you create an income stream in the future. That's what we're talking about. So Bonilla had wild numbers, but how can we be certain money's going to be there down the road? So I was looking at this example I'd given someone a few months ago who had called in, and they said exactly this. So if you're 55 years old, and let's say that you want to hang it up at age 65. So right now you're about 55 years old. You've accumulated whatever you've accumulated. In this example, the idea was to take $250,000. And if you were to invest that today and start taking income from that 10 years from now, so a 55-year-old puts in $250,000. In 10 years at 65, potentially they could pull out $30,000 a year annually, guaranteed for as long as they live.
Okay.
See, no, hold on. That's not so bad. Mm-hmm. If they waited to age 67 to pull that money, it'd be more like $36,000 a year, guaranteed for as long as they live. So if they're 65 when they retire, they know that $250,000 would give them between $30,000 and $36,000, even if they live to be older than Methuselah.
Nice. Okay.
Now, that's fairly attractive.
Yeah.
No, but here's the point, and here's exactly what was asked of me. Well, John, what if I took that same money and I put it in those great Vanguard funds you always talk about, and I averaged 6% a year for those 10 years? What would that look like? Well, if you took your $250,000 and you put it in those great Vanguard funds, getting 6% a year, at the end of that time, you'd have $447,000, and you would be able to pull out roughly $17,900. So when you think about it, let's do the math. So if we wanted to feel confident and comfortable, yes, this market's going to do great. I'm feeling good things. The president's doing right. We've got China finally now on the chopping block. We're going to make this all work out. If you feel like you can get 6% for the next decade, then you could potentially pull almost $18,000. But this one gentleman said, I just want to know the money's going to be there, John. What can we do? And in this example, we still have to have the market work for us a little bit. But in this example, that $250,000 gives you nearly almost 75% more income.
Yeah,
or almost
huge.
$30,000 a year, which is huge. So what this is talking about deferred gratification. How can we take money today, put it in a spot that down the road we will absolutely be gratified for what it's done. You can do it in the market, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you seek out those more income-based plans, you can do what Bobby Bonilla did and potentially be paid a good amount of money, maybe forever.
Have questions for John? Drop us an email at retirementsolutionradio.com.
Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if John Hicks is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through John Hicks, Kentucky Insurance License number 998827.